They say people only understand the worth of water when the well runs dry. The same lesson applies to love. A woman might think she'll never miss a man who gave her everything, but psychology often proves her wrong. The man she once overlooked, the man she assumed would always be there, becomes the one she can't stop thinking about once he chooses himself. And here's the hard truth: she doesn't miss him while he's around. She starts missing him the moment he steps back, when his silence speaks louder than his words, and when her comfort turns into regret. Let's break down the hidden psychology of why women end up missing the men they once took for granted. Step 1. Silence speaks louder than words. Silence has a strange kind of power. People believe words carry the meaning, that endless talking, explaining, and proving somehow shows love. But when a man learns the strength of silence, that's when everything changes. A woman who once took him for granted doesn't notice it at first. She assumes he's just busy, maybe giving her space. But as the silence stretches, hours into days, it starts to weigh on her. The man who used to text her constantly, check in, and explain himself no longer does. That quiet says more than any long speech ever could. Silence forces reflection. Words can be argued, dismissed, or ignored. But silence gives no defense. It makes her face her own thoughts. Why isn't he calling? Did I push him away? Did he stop caring? Those questions echo louder than his voice ever did. And those echoes slowly turn into regret. When someone's always available, their presence fades into background noise. She feels secure thinking he'll never leave, but silence removes that illusion. It makes her realize his attention wasn't endless. It was a gift. And gifts that go unappreciated don't return easily. That's where missing begins. Every text she doesn't get, every night he doesn't check in, every call that never comes reminds her of what she once dismissed. The presence that once felt overwhelming now feels priceless. Ironically, silence also shows strength. It isn't weakness to stop explaining, it's power. It means he values his peace more than convincing someone who never noticed him. Suddenly, he's not the desperate man chasing validation, he's the man who chose himself. And that image stirs something deep inside her. The mind plays tricks in silence. She replays old memories, old moments she ignored. She realizes how much space he truly held in her life. And what once felt ordinary now feels irreplaceable. A woman doesn't start missing a man when he chases or argues. She starts missing him when he chooses silence, because silence means he's no longer fighting for a place she never valued. Step 2. Consistency turns into distance. Consistency in love rarely gets credit. A man who shows up every day, not with big gestures, but through small, steady actions, gives something most women don't recognize until it's gone. That steady rhythm becomes her comfort zone. She assumes he'll always text, call, and care no matter how she reacts. But when something becomes too predictable, it starts to feel ordinary. The truth is, consistency isn't ordinary. It's effort, discipline, and love repeated daily. But when that effort goes unnoticed, eventually he feels the weight of it. He realizes he's giving to someone who doesn't value it, and that's when he quietly begins to step back. The change isn't dramatic. It's gradual. The daily rhythm fades. At first, she shrugs it off. But over time, the absence becomes loud. The good morning texts stop. The late night calls vanish. The security of his presence turns into emptiness. That's when she realizes his consistency wasn't routine, it was love. It was the foundation of her emotional peace. And now, every small thing he once did feels huge in hindsight. Consistency creates an emotional bond we don't see until it's gone. No new person, no distraction, no conversation replaces the comfort he brought. What she dismissed as ordinary was actually rare, and when that consistency turns to distance, regret begins. Step 3. Respect grows in absence. Respect is fragile. When someone keeps forgiving and staying no matter what, it's easy to stop respecting them. A woman might mistake his patience for weakness, assuming he doesn't have the strength to leave. But real respect often grows in absence. When he steps back, not out of anger, but quiet strength, her perspective shifts. The same love she dismissed now feels rare. The same loyalty she ignored now feels precious. She starts to see him differently, not as the man begging for attention, but as the man who walked away with dignity. Absence clears illusions. She thought he'd always be there, but now she sees the effort he gave, the patience he carried, the loyalty he lived by. In his silence, his value becomes undeniable. Respect comes not because he demanded it, but because he showed strength where she never saw it. And here's the sting: respect often arrives too late. Deep down, she knows she lost something not everyone offers: real loyalty. When he no longer reacts, argues, or lowers his energy to match hers, she finally sees his power. The man she once thought she could control becomes the one she can't forget. He wasn't weak for loving her, he was strong for walking away. Step 3. Respect grows in absence. Respect is fragile. When someone keeps forgiving and staying no matter what, it's easy to stop respecting them. A woman might mistake his patience for weakness, assuming he doesn't have the strength to leave. But real respect often grows in absence. When he steps back, not out of anger, but quiet strength, her perspective shifts. The same love she dismissed now feels rare. The same loyalty she ignored now feels precious. She starts to see him differently, not as the man begging for attention, but as the man who walked away with dignity. Absence clears illusions. She thought he'd always be there, but now she sees the effort he gave, the patience he carried, the loyalty he lived by. In his silence, his value becomes undeniable. Respect comes not because he demanded it, but because he showed strength where she never saw it. And here's the sting: respect often arrives too late. Deep down, she knows she lost something not everyone offers: real loyalty. When he no longer reacts, argues, or lowers his energy to match hers, she finally sees his power. The man she once thought she could control becomes the one she can't forget. He wasn't weak for loving her, he was strong for walking away. Step 4. Memories become triggers. Memories stay quiet when life feels full, but the moment he's gone, they start creeping in. A song, a scent, a place, and suddenly, she's back in that moment. The way he laughed, the way he noticed her silence, the way he showed up without being asked. What once felt normal now feels impossible to find again. Memories don't just remind, they relive emotion. She doesn't just think of him, she feels what he made her feel: comfort, safety, connection. That emotional replay hurts more than the absence itself. And no matter how she tries to suppress it, psychology says suppressed thoughts come back stronger. So every distraction, every new person only reminds her more. Each memory becomes both a comfort and a punishment. A comfort because it brings him close, a punishment because she knows she can't have him again. That's when missing turns into deep regret. Step 5. No one can replace his energy. After losing him, she convinces herself she'll find someone else. But over time, she learns energy can't be replaced. Another man might be charming or exciting, but he can't replicate the calm, the care, the presence that made her feel safe. Energy isn't about words, it's about authenticity. His loyalty, patience, and consistency left an imprint. She compares others, even when she tries not to. No one matches how he made her feel seen and secure. His energy set a standard that others can't reach. And eventually, she realizes it wasn't what he did, it was who he was. His presence changed her, and that kind of energy doesn't come twice. Step 6. Security turns into regret. In the beginning, his love felt like safety. She believed he'd never leave. That illusion made her confident and careless. She tested him, ignored him, dismissed him, thinking he'd always stay. But when he finally pulled away, her comfort turned into panic. The silence she once ignored became unbearable. She replays every moment she took for granted, every time she ignored his effort, and regret sets in heavy and permanent. Because she realizes his love was never guaranteed. He chose her every day, and she mistook that choice for a promise. Now that choice is gone. The regret isn't just about losing him, it's about realizing she lost something rare, something people spend lifetimes searching for. The very security that made her feel safe blinded her to his worth. Now, that same security feels like a void. So here's the truth: Women don't miss a man when he's chasing, explaining, or proving himself. They miss him when he goes silent, when his consistency stops, when his absence commands respect, when memories hurt more than comfort, when no one else can match his energy, and when the security they took for granted turns into unbearable regret. If you found value in this video, subscribe to Attraction Decode. Here, we don't just talk about relationships, we uncover the psychology behind them. And remember, don't wait until it's gone to realize its worth.